Welcome to CBC Windsor News at 6. I'm Meg Roberts. Thanks so much for spending part of your evening with us tonight. Well, some experts say the importance of having a copy of your medical records is increasing as cyber attacks become more common in the healthcare sector. We break down how you can do that. Plus, some auto workers are in for a big signing bonus, $10,000 to be exact. We tell you what that could mean for our local economy. And there's a search on in Lakeshore for Zuzu, a trilingual parrot. But first tonight, the fate of Nathaniel Veltman is now in the hands of the jury. He's accused of killing 4 members of a Muslim family in a truck attack in 2021. The 22-year-old pleaded not guilty to 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of attempted murder, as well as terror-related charges. CBC's Thomas Dagla has this report.
After more than 10 weeks of proceedings at Nathaniel Veltman's trial, there's plenty of evidence the jury didn't hear about the deadly attack on the Afzal family, like 2 surprise admissions found in a forensic psychiatrist's report. In August of last year, Dr. Julian Goger wrote Veltman told him he wants to plead guilty. Then again 3 months later, the doctor wrote Veltman was simply insisting on pleading guilty. Something later changed. And this past September, at the outset of his murder trial, Veltman pleaded not guilty.
What we, I think, in the community are really asking for is justice in the fullest sense. I think there is confidence.
Uthman Quick speaks for the National Council of Canadian Muslims. They've kept in touch with family members of the victims.
You can only imagine the difficulty of having to listen to some of the details that have come out during the trial.
The night before the June 2021 attack, Veltman testified he hit the road to Toronto, his mind in a dreamlike state, still reeling from a magic mushroom trip. The jury didn't hear there's evidence Veltman had a different target in mind. Prosecutors revealed directions to Toronto's Women's College Hospital were found on Veltman's smartphone. He had already told police he had considered targeting abortion providers, and investigators found a list of abortion clinics in his apartment.
When people enact this kind of terrorist violence, they want to become heroes and celebrated and remembered by others and inspire others.
In his closing arguments, the Crown Attorney alleged Veltman carried out the attack to strike fear in all Muslims and to inspire other white nationalists to commit more violence. The verdict is now in the hands of the jury. Thomas Dagla, CBC News, Windsor, Ontario.
A Windsor man has been charged with first-degree murder after allegedly killing his wife. Police responded to a disturbance call early yesterday morning at a home on Southdale Drive near Memorial Drive and Grand Maris Road East. Officials say the 67-year-old woman had life-threatening injuries and later died in hospital. Police have identified her as Janice Madison, wife of the accused. The 62-year-old husband was arrested at the scene and charged with first-degree murder. In a separate incident, Windsor police have also arrested 5 people following a weekend robbery downtown. Around 6 p.m. Sunday, a 30-year-old man reported being assaulted and robbed near Glengarry Avenue and University Avenue. After reviewing some security footage, police say they arrested 5 people just hours later. Inside the vehicle the suspects were driving, officers say they found a loaded sawed-off shotgun. The accused range in age from 19 to 28 and face a total of 21 charges. Some Caesars Windsor customers may have had their data leaked due to a cyber attack. A letter has been sent out with an explanation. The attack was on the entire Caesars entertainment chain, not just Windsor's local casino.
It just makes me feel that what else are they going to get? You hear of people who've lost their life savings and things like that. I wouldn't want that to happen. I have, unfortunately, a feeling that it's only going to get worse. People are going to be paying for protection all the time for anything you use, your phone, because everything is being compromised.
Lemire says she was surprised to receive a letter as she and her husband aren't Caesars Windsor regulars. She thinks the last time she visited was before 2020. Windsor Police and LaSalle Police have confirmed the letters are legitimate. Caesars Windsor said the potential data leak happened in a cybersecurity incident in September. It's been reported that Caesars Entertainment paid as much as $15 million in ransom to prevent a worse leak. The company tells CBC News there's been no evidence bank account or payment information were exposed. The corporation is offering affected customers 2 years of free enrollment in an identity protection and credit monitoring service. Should you keep a copy of your medical record? And if so, how do you even get it? These are questions that CBC's Jennifer LaGrassa took to experts as hospitals in southwestern Ontario continue to recover from a ransomware attack.
Bills, banking information, home and car insurance. Many of us have that type of information right at our fingertips. But when it comes to our medical records, things like lab tests, scans, even notes from our appointments, we tend to leave that in the hands of doctors. But experts say it's important for us to have a copy, especially in the case that these records are stolen, like during a cyber attack.
We should have immediate, easy digital access to it so that we're informed about what's going on in our own health and our own lives. I think it helps patients to feel more empowered in their own care.
The ransomware attack in this region has left care for some people up in the air because doctors can't access a patient's information. So having that data would put you more in control of your care. But getting access to those medical records might not be so easy. There's currently no province-wide system for patients to access their electronic health record. That's something that the federal and provincial governments say they're working towards. So in the meantime, hospitals have either created their own portal or they're relying on companies to fill in the gaps.
Pocket Health is one of them. It partners with hospitals and charges patients to view their records, $49 for a year.
When it comes to something as important as your health, you should have the most up-to-date record, just like the hospital will.
The company also offers financial support for people who might not be able to afford it. One cybersecurity expert says having a copy of your records does come with added risk.
Now, individuals are going to be trying to protect their data. And most Canadians are not prepared to protect that kind of sensitive data. And there are no technological silver bullets that I could say guarantee that this data is safe. Is that risk worth it when we talk about patient empowerment? I think so.
But to provide this data to patients in a way that's easy, reliable, and accessible, Shipley says that will require continued investment into healthcare IT. Jennifer LaGrassa, CBC News, Windsor.
There's plenty of reaction at Queen's Park tonight to a CBC News exclusive story. Last night we told you the Ford government pays a for-profit clinic far more than it pays hospitals to do identical OHIP-covered surgeries. Our senior reporter at Queen's Park, Mike Crawley, has the latest developments.
The next question, the member for Nickel Belt.
Merci, monsieur. Yesterday, CBC reported that privately owned Don Mills Surgical Suite.
In question period, the NDP's health critic highlights the revelation that the government funds this for-profit clinic at double the rate it funds public hospitals for certain surgeries.
The number one goal of a private clinic is to make money.
One example, arthroscopic knee surgery. For each operation, the province gives a hospital up to $1,700. Don Mills Surgical Unit gets more than $4,000.
We have a private, for-profit company that is performing the easiest surgeries on the least complex patients during the most convenient times of the day with the least oversight, yet they get to charge the most to the healthcare system.
With the health minister not at Queen's Park today, her parliamentary assistant defends the funding deal.
Our government is taking action to deliver more publicly funded procedures to reduce wait times for people and to reduce the surgical backlog.
The government says the private clinic gets more money than hospitals per surgery to cover its overhead.
These centres have higher costs because they're purchasing equipment or renting equipment in some cases because of their one-time funding.
Senior officials from various Ontario hospitals say there's no way those costs account for the much higher funding the province gives the for-profit surgical clinic. Related to all this, the former health minister, Christine Elliott, facing scrutiny today. She recently became a lobbyist for the company that owns the clinic.
You have a former Minister of Health now working for a company whose shareholders are benefiting very much by this government's privatization of healthcare in this province.
During Elliott's time as health minister, the province's annual funding to the clinic quadrupled. CBC News asked her for comment today, but did not receive a response. Mike Crawley, CBC News, Toronto.
Ontario's patient ombudsman, which takes complaints about the healthcare system, released its annual report today. The total number of complaints to the watchdog went up by about a third in the last year, but many of those are outside the ombudsman's jurisdiction.
This year, that this report covers are what we call non-jurisdictional complaints are way up, but in those complaints are primary care complaints. So the same kinds of complaints we would receive about delays, access to care, not courteous treatment or compassion in those interactions.
One other issue the office highlighted was complaints around the cost of ambulance rides. In Ontario, the price of an ambulance ride is drastically lower if it's deemed medically necessary, but there is no legislation that defines such a transport. CBC News asked the province if it was considering creating such a policy. The Ministry of Health did not directly respond to the question. Home sales in Canada have slowed again. The latest figures from the Canadian Real Estate Association show October sales dropped 5.6% compared to September. Both buyers and sellers are stepping away from the market, according to CREA. The number of newly listed homes in October slipped 2.3% from the previous month. The association's home price index dipped almost 1% month to month. And on a year-over-year basis, the national average price of a home rose 1.8% to just shy of $657,000. The number of sales was up by less than 1% compared to 2022. CREA says uncertainty about interest rates will likely weigh on the market until next spring at the earliest. Thousands of auto workers in the Windsor area will soon be up to $10,000 richer. Signing bonus checks were secured for workers at Ford and Stellantis in the most recent contracts settled this fall. The CBC's Dale Mullner looks at what this could mean for the area's economy.
With the Christmas shopping season upon us, retailers in Windsor, Essex are hoping to cash in on the millions of dollars in bonus check money coming to workers at Stellantis and Ford.
The uncertainty of the automotive industry in this city always has an effect on retail. And when you get a positive money infusion into our city, it always helps and always brings business to our store.
The Chamber of Commerce president says if retailers do well this Christmas, it's a shot in the arm for the community too.
So the more people are shopping locally, the more they're supporting local businesses, the more it helps the business, the economy, but also creates more jobs locally.
Auto workers we spoke with have a variety of plans.
There's TFSA options for people that are more the banking type, that are in that kind of position in life. Others have children that they want to splurge a little bit with. Could be a vacation around the corner for some people. Could be some home projects that they need to finish.
I would like to personally take care of my credit card, a line of credit that I have out, but I also have plans to give a big chunk back to my parents as well. So,
doing some spending with it at all?
I may if I have some left over, but I have the priorities first, obviously, to take care of because of all of our weeks off.
Nick Dimitru says he is also going to sponsor a family this Christmas along with some of his co-workers, something that the president of the Food Bank Association says is important due to the high cost of food.
That's terrific to hear that they're getting a bonus and they think about how they can help their community. They think about how they can give back. Last year, we served approximately 190,000 visits last year. This year, from January to September, we've had 146,000 visits, and we're not at our highest period yet. So Christmas time, we will see a lot more people visit our food bank.
But some workers have the option of investing the money.
Just basically going to put it into an RSP. Other than that, it's just an easy way, otherwise their taxes are going to be higher.
But financial advisor Barry Fowler says a tax-free savings account might be a better option, depending on factors like your tax bracket. He says paying down debt is a good idea too.
If you're at a 19% card, I would probably put that money there. The odds of you getting a sustainable 19% return in the markets are very, very low. However, if you have debt that's at a guaranteed 2% rate of return, I wouldn't pay down debt. I'd invest because you can get 5% interest in a GIC now. So yeah, so it depends upon everybody's situation.
Ford workers receive their bonus checks on October the 12th. The Stellantis workers will receive their checks no later than December the 8th. Dale Molnar, CBC News, Windsor.
Expectations are high that electric vehicle manufacturing will spur local job growth. A federal minister made an announcement in Windsor today to promote a new job website dedicated to the sector.
I am so excited to be here today to announce and launch EV Careers. The EV Careers platform will connect job seekers with local employers. That's the goal here, to support workers as they take their next steps in their career and create an electric vehicle industry in Windsor that will continue to be world-class.
EVcareers.ca was developed with the partnership of Invest Windsor Essex Workforce, Windsor Essex, and other local organizations. The site provides an online worker registry, up-to-date job postings, training information, and electric vehicle industry news. It also promotes Windsor Essex as a region to relocate for work. FedDev Ontario is funding the site as part of its $7.7 million investment in long-term growth of the sector in Windsor Essex. Workforce Windsor Essex said the site already has 31 job posts since its recent launch. A fire on Sunday destroyed 2 installations for Windsor's popular Bright Lights attraction, but the city says that won't stop the festivities. It's figuring out now what to put in their place. The CBC's TJ Deere has more.
This was the scene on Sunday afternoon at Jackson Park. A fire official said it was a straw fire. Here's what remains: charred straw, pools of water, burned tree trunks, and a pungent smell of smoke. The straw was supposed to be part of a feature at this year's Bright Lights, but it wasn't the only casualty.
The lit maple leaf structure is destroyed, and so we'll have to figure out, we're not going to be able to replace that for 2023.
Dilkin says Windsor Fire and police are both investigating, but one conclusion has already been drawn.
Fire has ruled out electrical sources as a cause, and so police are investigating to see if in fact it was arson. That certainly, creates a difficulty if it's a criminal offense. And police are investigating, and hopefully we'll be able to find the culprit if in fact it was arson.
Dilkin said he went straight to the scene of the fire on Sunday, worried the fire had damaged the big Christmas tree. He said the city is working on how to fix and dress up the area to make it look like there was no fire at all. Today, an announcement launching Bright Lights 2023 was held in front of that Christmas tree. It'll cost the city $500,000 to operate Bright Lights this year. The city's manager of culture and events said they took last year's suggestions when planning this year's display.
The biggest thing that a lot of people were looking for was finding ways to be able to stay longer. They enjoyed seeing the lights, but they wanted to spend more time with their family. On average, we find that people spend between 35 to 60 minutes at Bright Lights. That includes going to the vendor market, seeing all the displays.
Statagard says they're already working on next year, while the work to set up this year's display is already underway. Some of the new features this year will include chair swings, a train station for the train ride, and Adirondack chairs around a fire table. Bright Lights 2023 starts December 1st and goes until January 7th, 2024. TJ Deere, CBC News, Windsor.
A Lakeshore resident is in a desperate search to get Zuzu, her pet parrot, back. Zuzu flew the coop 3 weeks ago and has been spotted and documented by neighbors. Zuzu is an African gray bird who knows 400 words in 3 different languages. Zuzu's owner has been putting up posters and searching on foot and hopes to get the trilingual bird back.
So he flew out on October 25th. He got out of the house by being frightened by my dog and flew near the forest line on Pews and near St. Anne's. That's where he's mostly spotted. Zuzu made a big impact on my life. I really grew up with him and I raised him as a baby, so he, throughout the 4 years I've had him, definitely been with me through a lot of different stages of life, and he was definitely my support system.
Beautiful, mild November night with temperatures still above 10 degrees. We have another nice day in the works for tomorrow. Your full weather forecast coming up after the break. There was a brief, bright flash over Windsor last night, but it wasn't too fast for some cameras to catch it. Researchers at Western University confirmed it was a meteor that passed over southwestern Ontario and Michigan. The event started over Lake Huron and ended near Guilford, Michigan at an altitude of 39 kilometers and traveling at about 25 kilometers per second. A professor at Western University says the space chunk was almost certainly from an asteroid and that it would have been anywhere from the size of a baseball to a basketball. For tonight's forecast, Victor Paolo is here to tell us all about tomorrow's nice weather.
Hope all is well, Meg. Hope everyone is doing great in Windsor. How about that beautiful weather today? Definitely above seasonal, not the average, but you know what? We'll take it anyway. A beautiful, gorgeous day for the surrounding regions. But when we do take a look, we are expecting some more beautiful weather when it comes to your remainder of the week. Thursday is going to be a great day. It's going to be an above seasonal day. When it comes to the nighttime, the low will be close to double digits. How about that? Double digit high, double digit low in the middle of November? Who would have guessed? Only in beautiful Windsor. Now, we do have some rain coming on Friday, and we do have some cooler temperatures when it comes to this weekend, because in the wake of all that rain on Friday, the temperatures will drop. Now, what are average temperatures this time of year for November 15th? Well, 8.4 is your average high. When it comes to your low, 1.1 is your average low. So remember those two numbers when we're looking at our 3 and 7 day forecast. Now, here's what it looks like when it comes to watches and warnings of the surrounding regions. Well, the good news is there's no severe rain and no severe snow coming this way. But here's what there is. Severe wind. That severe wind is going to last all the way through to about midnight on Friday. So if you do have any plans to be out and about by that water, you want to make sure you are aware that the wind will be strong. But when it comes to tomorrow morning, and my little Emmy's getting ready for school, and your little ones are getting ready for school as well, it's going to be a mix of sun and cloud, and it's going to be 5 degrees, feeling like 13 degrees. But then when we're looking at the 3 and 7 day forecast, Meg, well, a lot of good things to see here. Look at that 14-degree Thursday. Beautiful day for the middle of November, and it's going to be a low of 12 degrees. Now, we are expecting that rain to come in on Friday, and as mentioned, when that rain is all said and done, the temperatures will drop. -2 will be the overnight for Friday, much different than that 12 degrees on Thursday. And when it comes to your Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, look at that streak of 3 sunny days. 3 sunny days in store, but it will be closer to seasonal, below seasonal temperatures. And you can see on Tuesday a little bit of rain coming this way. And Wednesday is going to be a 5-degree day, feeling like -3. But you know what? How about that beautiful Thursday we got coming up next? Hope you all have yourselves a great rest of your day. And over to you, Meg.
Thanks, Victor. That is Victor Paolo with the weather. Coming up, a light show in London you won't want to miss. It's a tourist attraction any time of the year, but London's Royal Botanical Gardens is lighting up for the holidays again this season. The gardens at Kew are sparkling and glittering. Visitors can admire illuminated flowers that are 3 meters high and check out one of the longest light tunnels at the gardens. The lights display is now in its 11th year, and while it's memorable on its own, it's apparently inspirational too. The team at Kew Gardens says almost every year there's a proposal at the location. Well, that's it for CBC Windsor News. Don't forget, for news anytime, you can go to our website at cbc.ca/Windsor. You can also download the CBC News app for stories that matter most to you. And don't forget to watch The National tonight at 9 on CBC News Network, 10 p.m. on the CBC News app, CBC TV, and streaming on CBC Gem and CBC Explore. Thanks so much for tuning in. Looking forward to seeing you back here tomorrow night.